Hi, I'm JJ Barnes, and this is Jonathan McKinney.
Hello.
And you are listening to Siren Stories, the podcast. So, if you are joining us specifically because this is an episode about the Snyder Cut of Justice League.
Or Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, yeah. Of course,
title.
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yes.
Hello, welcome. This is our podcast where we dissect story. We talk about filmmaking, writing, the experience of being a film and TV lover and consumer and creator.
Yes.
And we contrast our working roles of creating story against the story we consume.
Yes, we've talked about Parasite, but that's only on YouTube.
At the minute, it will come out on this.
I am going to edit that into a podcast that we can publish soon. And we've talked a lot about WandaVision.
Yeah. On this feed, you'll find all sorts of different things, but we've just completed WandaVision. We are preparing tomorrow to start watching and then podcasting Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah, so to place you in time, Podlovian friend, you might not even know that phrase because that's what we've been calling the WandaVision people.
Podlovians, we release podcasts once a week for the Marvel universe.
Yes, but what I was going to say is that tonight in our lives is
Thursday
the day.
Night. Yeah, it's the day of Zack Snyder's Justice League coming out.
The entire
4 hours of Zack Snyder's Justice League. We watched it today.
We did.
Whilst eating cheese.
Yes, cheese and crisps.
And crackers.
And I had a beer.
And I had wine. And we had some spring onions and some carrots dipped in cheese.
Yeah, and some delicious, what do you call it, balsam?
Borsan. Well, that's cheese.
Right, but specifically.
Yeah, it's borsan. It's garlicky, creamy French cheese given to us by my mother.
Yes.
And my God, that is some cheese. That is some quality cheese. Anyway, Podlovians. Right, so we've talked about how, because we'd said we were going to podcast this the day it came out. And the longer this film went on,
yes.
the more
the running time was not a surprise.
No,
we knew.
I know. It's just the longer it went on, the more we realised that we couldn't do our usual podcast format for this. No. So our usual podcast format for the stories has been to do a breakdown of the plot. Then we do what we like, what we didn't like, and then we've done thoughts and theories. But
there's no point for thoughts and theories.
No point for thoughts and theories. Now, well, there is, because they have done some setup for some future stuff.
That said, right, yes, there is a wave of Restore the Snyderverse going around Twitter with
there is literally thoughts and theories to be had.
Lots of enthusiasm behind it. However, Zack Snyder has said that this is the last thing that he's doing for DC.
Oh, really? So is he... Okay, this is the point. There is thoughts and theories. Before we get into that...
I mean, I would say that the director's comments shut down the point of expanding beyond...
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. That's the point. Right, so right. Right. So, I would say we cannot do a plot breakdown. For one thing... Right.
We could read the plot from the original Justice League. That would get us there.
For one thing, right, everybody, well, not everybody, but the likelihood is...
if somebody's listening to this...
If you are listening to a Snyder Cut podcast about Justice League, the likelihood is you saw the Frankenstein's monster of an original, right? Otherwise, why are you watching a 4-hour alternative version?
Yes.
Right? You all saw the Whedon/Snyder melange of footage that was the original Justice League.
Yeah.
So you know the plot. This isn't. We don't need to really break this down to you.
No, nothing that happened in this movie today that we watched surprised me in terms of what the plot was. In fact, if anything surprised me, it was how similar the plot was to the original one. I actually thought it would be more drastically different.
I will confess.
Oh.
Right. That when we went to see Justice League,
after having a lovely curry,
I did fall asleep.
You did.
In the cinema. Because it wasn't very good. And I'm prone to falling asleep at the cinema. So today when we watched Snyder, I only fell asleep
and I woke you up straight away.
Yeah, it was only for like
and
30
you sat
seconds.
Up and you had some Borsan and then...
I did eat more cheese and that helped me. So my memory of this one is less tainted by sleep than the original.
Yes.
Or the.
I mean, it's the original.
It's the original, yeah. Because
it's not what would have been the original, but
yeah, it's like the
theatrical release.
The theatrical, that's what we'll call it, right? Yeah. So yeah, my theatrical release memories are slightly broken by me falling asleep from boredom. But right,
I feel like, in the interest of full disclosure, because somebody might be listening to this for the first time, right?
Yes.
Like, as in this podcast for the first time, because they are looking for content about this movie, right? We should clarify right now that we have a daughter called Buffy, right? Because I think it plays a part in...
As in, we are not going to be sitting here slamming on Whedon.
Well, I mean, we might criticise him.
But we aren't going to sit here and do a Whedon slam.
We're not dunking on him for fun.
No.
Because we despise... Like,
also, we massively respect his writing and work. So we aren't... Like, regardless of the personal life issues and behind-the-scenes stuff, my point is, we are big fans of the Whedon-style writing, producing, directing stuff.
Yes.
Like, this isn't... We aren't going to. So if you're here, basically, yeah, you're right. If you're a Snyder fan who loathes Whedon and is here purely for a Whedon slam, we aren't going to give that to you.
No. So, to further complicate this, and this is just my personal history with DC and Joss Whedon, right? So, I have loved Batman my entire life, right? Ever since he first appeared in Tim Burton's first.
We should also say, if we're saying we have a cat, we have a daughter called Buffy, we have a cat called Batman.
We do, and another one called
Robin. So we are crossing the streams here. We have a Buffy and a Batman in the same house.
But two of my favourite movies are Batman films, and I was very, very excited and enthusiastic for Man of Steel when it came out.
I remember
I saw it 3 times in the cinema. I had a great time. Was really excited when it came out on Sky, which is the sort of HBO Max version here in the UK, which is how we've watched the Snyder Cut today. I very much enjoyed Batman v Superman, but as time went on, I couldn't not see the things that people were pointing out about Batman v Superman, and then that went back into Man of Steel as well.
Yeah.
And so my enjoyment of this cinematic tale, this trilogy, if you like, has eroded under my feet somewhat dramatically, and it has impacted the way that I've watched this today. It also impacted the way I watched the 2017 release in November of 2017, because I was terribly sad watching that the whole time too. I
would say that, because obviously I'm not as massive of I haven't got the whole history. Like, I watched all the Batman films, and I was always a big fan of superhero films. Like, I was, and I always have been, but I didn't have quite the same sort of balls deep investment that you did.
And Superman was my second favourite. So until the MCU started giving me loads and loads of characters to be favourite.
Yeah.
Batman and Superman were my favourites.
Superman was mine.
Yeah, well, there was the original Christopher Reeve movies.
Dean Cain.
Then Dean Cain in the 90s.
That was
Saturday mornings.
Saturday morning. Yeah.
And Batman, forget about it. Like the idea of the Tim Burton films. I like Batman Forever. Did not like Batman and Robin, and I don't think that's just me. But then I love Batman Begins. Absolutely worshipped the Dark Knight. Dark Knight Rises I enjoyed at the time, but much like the Snyder films, Dark Knight Rises has sort of eroded in my appreciation as time's gone on. So I don't want you to think, if you're listening to this, if you're still here, that because we got a kid called Buffy, that we're just like, we hate Zack Snyder or any of that. That is not the case.
So, okay, a little bit of history done, I would say. We can get on to the actual film.
Yes, it'll keep coming up, and I will be sensitive to it, because
it's fine.
Opinions about these movies are pretty fucking polarized.
Honestly, Podlovians, if you're like absolutely raging at any comment we say in favor or against either Snyder or Whedon or any of these people, you know what? Just like share our podcast, and complain about it loads while sharing it and commenting on it, and like really making sure people are aware of this podcast.
At the same time, I don't want to piss anyone off. Like,
I don't mind. I'll piss anyone off. Be nice.
I'm gonna be mean. Don't worry.
Right.
About some stuff.
The history of the Batman love
Yep.
aside,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Getting back onto this movie.
El Podcasto.
Yes. So as I was saying, we can't do a full plot breakdown because who's got the goddamn time? And we'd have to do it in slow-mo.
Yes, that's true. But we won't do it in slow-mo. We'll do it in quick-mo, which is the Steppenwolf, not a band, but a monster from space, attacks the Themyscirans, the Amazons, and
on Themyscira.
And then Batman with Wonder Woman tries to recruit a plucky team of superheroes
to fight off Darkseid.
Fight Steppenwolf and his master Darkseid. Part of which includes trying to bring Superman back from the dead because he died in the previous film. There are 3 mother boxes.
Mother boxes.
Half as many as Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
But no less powerful. Pretty much the same.
And boxes.
And boxes, yeah. But this is all from comic books, so...
I know, right. Okay, so I'm not coming at it from a history of comic book love. I am like films onwards.
I mean, we could take the piss out of Infinity Stones. That's
I know.
Equally silly.
I know. It's just... I can't quite take people talking about boxes seriously.
And mother boxes.
Mother boxes is better at least.
Then what would be worse than mother boxes? But it still has to be a something kind of box.
Potato boxes.
Potato boxes.
Right?
Potato.
You know what? The reason mother boxes is fine is because as a mother, I'm like, yes, a mother is a powerful, important.
Finally.
I'm like, yeah. God damn it, mothers.
I mean, there may only be one woman in this film, but that doesn't matter.
There's 2.
Well, there's 3, because there's Superman's mother.
Martha, Lois.
2 women who revolve around
Diana.
Superman, and 1 actual female character.
Yeah. So.
I'm joking, I promise.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Be pissed off. He doesn't like it when people are pissed off.
No, I'm fine if you're pissed off, honestly. I just don't want to piss you off.
So, what I would say is we should talk about things we like, things we didn't like, and then just a roundup because we can't do a plot breakdown. So, talk to me about things you liked about Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Number one is Superman beating up Steppenwolf again.
Yeah.
I liked this version. I liked the 2017 version.
It's a good...
I like both versions. I honestly, Podlevians, I don't have a preference.
I liked Aquaman stabbing him on his trident.
His quindent.
His quindent, because it's not a trident. He's like, oh, take your mother's trident. And try means 3. I'm sorry, try is 3. It's a tricycle because it has 3 wheels. Like, it's not a trident.
Have you never seen a 5-wheeled tricycle, Jimmy?
Oh my God. But
Jesus
anyway,
Christ.
I very much enjoyed the visual of Aquaman, like, with Steppenwolf, like, on his quindent.
His quindent.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But yes, Superman's, like, great.
Superman, everything that happened when, Steppenwolf is about to chop Cyborg with his big axe.
And Superman lands in front of him.
He gets in the way and it gets him in the shoulder and he says, not impressed. And then he just batters the shit out of him.
Like, he makes the axe dissolve, like this big scary axe that Steppenwolf has been, like, battering people with. And it just sort of, like, disintegrates and then he, like, lays into...
Yeah.
Oh, I like when he chops his ear off.
Yes. Well, is that his ear or is that part of his weird hammerhead?
Well, I assumed it was an ear, like a Ferengi.
He's got really good hearing if those are his ears.
Well, the Ferengi have really good hearing.
There you go.
So I assumed it was a big ear. But anyway, I enjoyed that being chopped off because I was like, that dickhead has massive ears on the side of his head. Now he don't.
Looks so sad, though.
All the time.
He always looks like he's about to cry. He's sort of...
I didn't notice this in the first one.
No, it wasn't the case in the first one.
In this one, he just looked all the time. I felt sorry for him all the time. I mean, not all, because I know he's
murdering
monster, but I'm like, every time he's talking, his little mouth is all sad, downturned, and his eyes are all watery. And I'm like, oh, you've been through shit, man.
Well, he was apparently... He owes Darkseid like 50,000 worlds.
50,000 worlds.
And he's got a shortcut because this world has the anti-life equation.
An equation. Okay, carry on.
Yeah. But it has some kind of key.
That's that wormy lava thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So that Darkseid can enslave the entire universe. I'll tell you something else I liked, Podlevians. If you think that because my daughter is named Buffy that I'm going to
You're fine. Stop over-explaining.
I over-explain.
I know you do that.
When we talk about WandaVision, DC people, I constantly apologise to the Marvel people, so I'm just terrible to everybody. So, you know.
Just don't worry, just talk. It'll be fine. I'll take the flak.
One thing I liked more about this version than the original version is that this version explained what the stakes were better.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't really get what the hell was going on in the first one. I'm like, obviously he wants to do this. I don't know why.
Yeah, exactly. I get that it'll be bad, but in this version, it's clear that if Steppenwolf is successful, that he unites these mother boxes, then he will be able to turn all of the population of Earth into parademons. I was like, right, okay. I get it.
I agree. And they had the guy with the melty fire that kind of explained things.
Yeah, chocolate bar man.
Yeah, and he had like that weird, terrible necklace with the spikes. But he at least, I was like, okay, I don't get what his deal is or why he's wearing that terrible necklace.
But he's a slab of chocolate that becomes a shifty...
Yeah. Terrible necklace man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, I get it, because he's explaining things. Like, it was much, in the theatrical one, I was like, I don't know why you're doing this. What's your beef?
Yeah. I mean, he was still sort of drawn in one direction, which means that at least you can follow his actions. But yeah, I didn't quite understand what was at stake. So if I don't, the characters won't.
Yeah.
And therefore, why do they care?
I'll tell you something I liked. And this is going to feed into a conversation, right? But Cyborg.
Yes.
Right? In the theatrical cut, didn't get the character.
No.
Didn't get it.
Wasn't much of a character to get.
Wasn't much. I was like, okay, you are a robot man.
Yes.
I can see that. I'm not an idiot. I'm familiar with fantasy stories. You are a part robot, part man.
So you didn't need Wonder Woman in this one to be like looking at you basically like Zach Morris at the camera going, he's a cyborg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I didn't get Cyborg. I was like, I get what he is. I don't have a connection with this character. In this film, they dedicate like about 7 hours to the character of Cyborg.
Victor Stone,
his father, his mother, where he came from, why he is Cyborg, what's going on, like what his motivation is, why he cares. Like, I get that you have to cut down the 80 hours of...
You can't put 4 hours into the cinema.
You can't.
And with apologies, I know Endgame put 3 hours in the cinema.
But that was fucking epic and had been built to.
They built it over 20 movies, not like 2.
Yeah. Exactly. So I get why they had to lose shit, but my God, I was like, that character now? I'm like, yeah, I get this. I get why you care. I get why you're doing this. I get why you're risking yourself. I understand who you are and what your shit is. Okay. And I had no goddamn clue in the first one. I was just like, oh, he's a robot man. All right.
He's a robot man, yeah.
I didn't get it, but...
I have problems with the Cyborg character as depicted in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Well, you probably have like actual understanding of the character from comic books.
No, it's not even that.
Okay, because I don't have comic book knowledge. I just have movie, and I was like, okay, now I understand.
I'm literally just talking about as depicted in this movie.
Okay, tell me then, because
are we going to go into what we didn't like? Because it falls under that.
Okay, so we'll stick on what we like.
Okay.
There was so many incredible shots in this film.
Yes.
I mean, it's Zack Snyder, so you kind of go in expecting...
Not only do you expect, you can count on some good visual.
Like, honestly...
You can count on that.
Like, right, we've talked about how we're comparing our own work, and I sometimes, when I look at our film, I'm like, I'm real proud of some of the shots. Just... Sometimes I've got like a real beautiful... I mean, obviously I was like low budget. Like, I mean, honestly, if you compare...
Profoundly low, yeah.
Compared to...
The money that's been spent on this, it doesn't even bear thinking about.
No.
Because it's been made twice and it's 6 hours long.
Genuinely, right? Like, our little indie movie shot in Staffordshire in England does not compare. However, if I just break it down to my experience of lining up shots and planning shots and everything... Sometimes I look at some of the shots that we've got and I'm like, that is beautiful. Whether it's a close-up on a face where it's like, yeah, you can really like it just has worked, or it's a landscape where they're walking and the light. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I'm so proud of the visuals that we have accomplished with our tiny budget.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching this film and I'm like, my God, if the only thing I cared about, right, if the only thing I cared about when making a film was visuals, then no wonder it's 4 hours long, because so much is dedicated and they are beautiful shots. It's art.
It is very artistic and fair fucks, because it looks great.
It looks incredible.
It's weird because we watched it like we were watching a movie from 1990, because for some reason it's
Part 1, Part 2, Part 3.
No.
The aspect ratio is strange.
Yeah. It's like when we put The Simpsons from 1990 on.
Yeah, or when you watch season 1 of Lois and Clark's New Adventures of Superman.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah. It is. It's very strange.
But, that must be what he likes. Maybe it's because he must be about 45, 50, 55. So he probably remembers movies looking like this. Like. Well, no, but movies always been
widescreen. Like, widescreen was just because the cinema screens are widescreen.
Maybe he wanted it to look like television. But I'd be surprised if he did. But.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that, but I tell you, honestly, so many of the shots, even when I was like, yawn, this is taking hours.
For example, when Wonder Woman is doing her Lara Croft bit.
With the torch flame stick, yeah.
And it was very side-scrollery.
Side-scrollery.
You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, no, I do. It's just side-scrollery.
Like a platform game.
Yeah. 100%.
She was, I'd play that game. I'd be like, with Junkie XL's music blasting.
How would you compare? Because it was
Danny Elfman.
It was Danny Elfman in the theatrical and Junkie XL for this. What's your take? And it's okay if it's a negative, like, because I'm curious. Like, we always blend. Like, I break these podcasts into sections and then they just blur into each other.
Okay, once more, I know for a fact that the first thing I want to say is that it's impossible to think about this film without being tribal about the choices, right?
You love Danny Elfman. He inspires your own compositions.
Forgetting all about that. I like Junkie XL.
Yeah, I like Junkie XL.
One of my favourite scores is Mad Max.
Yeah, no,
Fury
honestly.
Road. One of my
100%.
other favourite scores is Batman Returns.
Yeah.
That's these two guys.
Yeah.
And they are wildly different, but equally brilliant, in my opinion.
No,
right?
I agree. I have mad respect for both, but I'm not a music person.
Right. The fact is that a lot of fans, and again, and forgive me if you're listening and you just think I'm the worst.
John,
right?
assume they won't forgive you and just accept
the
hatred.
Fuck you, pal.
There we go. Just go with it. It's fine.
A lot of people despise Danny Elfman because he said that there was only one Batman theme, which is his own. Because Hans Zimmer and Hans Zimmer literally said he didn't write Batman a theme because Batman was, according to Hans Zimmer felt that Batman was stunted at the moment that his parents died. So the theme was stunted as well. It's literally just French horns playing a D then an F. There's no theme. And Hans Zimmer, I've watched him explain this. He could have done it. He said, I could have written a theme. And he said, that's Danny Elfman's Batman theme. But I felt like this Batman doesn't need it or shouldn't have a theme because he's stuck being a 10-year-old boy. Right? That's what Hans Zimmer said.
I mean, it's interesting.
And then Junkie XL, Tom Hulkenberg in 2016 for Batman v Superman did the dum 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 dum.
Yeah.
And forgive me, but I agree with Danny Elfman. That's not a theme. That's a rhythm. And I'm a composer. I'm not necessarily a very good one.
You're a wonderful. Ignore him.
God bless you. But I agree with Danny Elfman. That's not a theme. It's a rhythm. And there was never a developed Batman theme in Batman v Superman. Not a piece of music.
I really like the Danny Elfman Batman theme. Yeah, it's really interesting and exciting, and
it's by far the best Batman theme.
Yeah,
it's a big rip-off of what's his name, the composer who did all of Hitchcock's movies.
Alexandra
Bernard fucking Herrmann. Right.
Bernard Herrmann, yeah, of course.
Right. Bernard Herrmann wrote a theme for a film. I think it was The Journey to the Center of the Earth or 50,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah, I remember you playing me.
And it is the Batman theme.
Yeah, I remember you playing it to me, and I was like, oh gosh, that's Batman.
Yeah. And so that's totally fine. Like I'm not criticizing or judging anybody.
No, of course not.
But for me, right, because the original question was which score do I like more in the two Justice League films?
Elfman or Junkie XL. What's Junkie XL's real name?
Tom Hulkenberg.
You did say Tom Hulkenberg.
When Superman, for every moment from when Superman gets the Steppenwolf
I really love
to the chest and says not impressed, everything from that till when Steppenwolf is defeated, it's Tom Hulkenberg I prefer.
Right. That's interesting.
Almost everything else,
you prefer Elfman.
I feel like no, because Tom Hulkenberg he's building on stuff that he's worked on before.
Right.
Danny Elfman's working on a new project entirely, but there's some weird fucking choices musically in this film that I don't like. And like when the scene where the Flash is like, "Let me stop you right there. I'm in.
Yeah. I'm
a snack hole." Right? All of that stuff. The music in that is weird. It's invasive. It's a little bit like Chuck. I felt like the music was interrupting.
You're right, Chuck. It's the same in Chuck. Sometimes the music it's competing with the dialogue.
Yeah, and that's just how I felt. I was like, I'm not sure what the music's trying to do, but
I enjoy every time Wonder Woman comes on screen. Oh!
Right. I
liked that. I was like, oh.
I prefer the
I do. No. Yeah, no, 100%. I do as well. I do prefer that, but I also really enjoy the fact that she has her own little
Yeah.
I'm like, yay, that's Wonder Woman, because I like Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I remember watching Wonder Woman with you at the cinema.
Yes.
And I was so excited.
Well, honestly, you punched me a lot.
Podlovians, right, after we watched Wonder Woman, we walked to the pub for drinks, which is so unlike us to go questing alcohol and film chat.
Yeah.
But yes, I did all the way from the cinema to the pub, which is like a 5-minute.
Oh no, it was more than 5 minutes. It was like 15 minutes from the Apollo to the.
So we went to the King's Horse.
To the King's Horse, yeah.
Yeah, about 15 minutes. I punched him all the way.
You did.
I'm not like punch him aggressively. I'm a very nice woman, but I was just very excited and kept like excitedly.
Help me!
Shut up!
Get me out!
You shouldn't joke about that sort of thing. That will get us hated.
This way around, I can joke about it. So.
Can you?
Yes.
Can you?
Yes.
Can you though?
Yes.
Can you though?
Only weird menonists, and there's none of them. So.
All right. But anyway, yeah, I kept talking about Wonder Woman and then like bopping him on the arm, like, wasn't that brilliant? Wasn't that brilliant?
Honestly,
and he was like, yes, but you don't have to punch me to tell me how much you like this.
Well, I enjoyed Wonder Woman too.
Yeah, but the point is, like, anytime Wonder Woman gets a little theme of her own in one of these things, I'm like, yay!
Yeah.
But I do agree, I prefer the Elfman Wonder Woman theme.
Well, no, it was Junkie XL and Hans Zimmer that wrote the original.
Oh, was it? Really?
Because that first appeared in Batman v Superman.
Oh, I'd assumed that was.
Well, I'm confused because Junkie XL, Tom Hulkenberg, doesn't use it as much.
Doesn't use it, yeah.
He does use it in this film.
But not like.
But not exclusively when Wonder Woman's.
Yeah, most of the time it was,
there was this, yeah, and it kept reminding me of a different song.
Yeah, you were singing it.
I can't remember what it is now, but I'm never watching this film again, so I will never know what it was.
We should. Is there any more things you want to talk about that you like?
I liked Alfred being fussy about how to make tea.
Oh my gosh, yes, I loved that.
That was great.
I
enjoyed Wonder Woman Diana Prince's easy sort of appreciation of it. Like she's
not offended.
A little bit confused.
Yeah, she's a bit like, okay, this matters to you. I don't get why, but I'm gonna go with it. But there's no judgment.
I really enjoyed the juxtaposition of personalities in that scene.
I agree.
What else did I like? Okay, so forgetting things that we've seen before in the 2017 version, right? I like Superman's side eye when Flash is running.
Yes, I like that
Superman's
very much.
Got Wonder Woman and Cyborg and Aquaman.
And he's holding them all. And he turns and he watches Flash go past. Yeah. And Flash just looks like,
Flash is like,
shit.
Oh no, this guy can look at me as I go at my speed.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fucked. Is what the Flash thinks.
Let me see what else. I liked Wonder Woman, like honestly, when Wonder Woman's saving those kids.
Yes, and she's
she's
she's waving her little wrist.
She's like boom, 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 and she's like, and I was like, yeah, that's the Wonder Woman I love. She's like this, and then she like lobs up into the sky and throws the briefcase. Like, yeah, that's that. I mean, I also have thoughts on that scene on the other side of this segment, but right, I very much enjoyed her. I liked her having a little moment with the kids, like I have thoughts on that as well, but I like.
Can I be like you one day?
Yeah, I like. On the one hand, I like that because I'm a sentimental schlup, and I'm like, my little girls love a girl superhero. Like, my little girls love a girl supervillain, if we think about their feelings towards Agatha.
But a trace of self-awareness is useful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
At least a trace.
This is. I don't want to. We're not in that section yet, okay. So I like the girl inspiration for the superhero because it reminds me of my own daughters, and I'm just going to, for the moment, ride on that.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to say on
that
the positives?
About Zack Snyder's Justice League? There's lots of stuff that I liked. Again, not just stuff that we've already seen. Okay, so I will talk about the scenes with Cyborg and his father, where his father's explaining who he is, and I'm gonna have comments in the negative too.
Yeah, I mean, I trust me, I'm well there.
And both for like my own sort of personal, I've had enough reasons with Zack Snyder's storytelling, but also with the actual storytelling, just irrespective of how I feel about it. The choices that are made and how they contradict each other on screen in a very, I know it's a long film, but in a short space of time, ultimately 4 hours, you should be able to live up to your own statements in one movie, and this movie does not. But this is things that we do like. I like the Flash when he's talking to his father. I do not like the Flash when he's applying for a job and saving Iris West.
Oh my god, I have so much to say about. Oh my god.
Iris West is good, but also stupid, apparently, because she doesn't look where she's going.
I have so much to say about that fucking scene. I was so cross watching that scene.
I know.
I know you know, because I kept swearing.
Things that we did like.
If you're done, it's fine, because I'm really looking forward to the things we didn't like section.
All of the visual, and to reiterate, Superman's arrival at the end of the film is magnificent.
It is.
I got nothing negative to say about it.
No, I agree. It's beautiful.
Anyone listening to this probably knows that in the 2017 version, there's a whole bit where him and the Flash go and save lives around the little, Russia brain dome that gets made.
House flying thing.
Yeah, so the Flash saves a family, and then he looks proud of himself, and he looks up to the sky where Superman is flying a building block to safety, and he looks a bit like, on the one hand, I'm a little bit embarrassed because I was so proud of myself for saving this family, but also it's good that he's saving them.
Yeah.
And there's a nice moment to it. There's no room for that in this version.
No, it's true.
But I like everything Superman does once he comes back.
Yeah, I agree. Can we
get into what we didn't like?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I get wine first?
Yes, please.
Because I feel like this needs wine.
Right.
Okay.
So, what did you like?
So, before we get into this little section, right, I'm going to say that on my little list of subjects to do for my writing advice videos,
oh God,
right, I have a little note to do about get there faster for a Snyder Cut themed video, basically, like why you should tell people what's going on and just stop dawdling, right, as like a writing advice thing. Because I know...
So can I interrupt and just say, because Get There Faster is a line from Friends.
Get there faster!
Chandler, when frustrated at how long it is taking Joey to realise something, says, get there faster! And yes, that was how I felt for the first 2 hours of this film, right? And only the first two, to be fair...
But
in the second half of this 4-hour movie, I felt like the movie rattled along at a more reasonable pace.
Because I know that sometimes the Snyder fandom can be
zealous,
committed, to like, heresy must be destroyed and stamped out. Bah! Down with the Snyder doubters. Kill the witch.
Okay, right. I think that a lot of Snyder fans probably would feel a little bit misrepresented.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I told you, like, it's fine. You can be worried about offending them. I'll just take it. So basically, I'm going to see how much Burn the Witch there is in response to this YouTube and podcast situation.
All right, good.
Before I release any video of me talking, because once they have my face, I fear.
Okay, but no, they might be angry on the Twitter.
Yeah. They are angry people.
But not with you yet.
Yeah, exactly. So if they're angry with my voice, I might just be like, nah, it's not worth doing a YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
They might be more angry with me.
No. You have the mighty penis. Yeah. It keeps you safe.
No, but I haven't even started on the Silas Stone dumbness yet.
Right. I will say we should start, right? My first question, and it's probably an unexpected question, right? I have questions about Steppenwolf.
Okay. He's a big spiky man.
Yes. Number one, why does he have a butt flap?
I don't know.
Because the entire time Mr. Steppenwolf was on the screen, I'm like, I get the point of all your spiky armor because it is protective garb, right?
And he uses it to shed arrows that have been fired at him.
Exactly. It is protective. It is armor, right? I understand the principle of spiky, shiny, protective armor, right? What the hell is the butt flap for? What is that protecting? That is a flap of spike that just hangs down the back of his arse.
Well, he is clearly a species we're not familiar with. Maybe he's got a little bone tail.
Yeah, but then it would need to be a
Maybe there's a vulnerability in his bone tail.
Yeah, but no. His ears have protective spikes that are encased around them. Why when his...
Yeah, they get chopped off. Maybe they're to draw attention away from the butt tail.
Right? If the butt tail is needs protection, why have a flapping bit of flap? Why not have like a case around it? What the hell is the butt flap for? It pissed me off the entire way through this film, watching him strut around with his butt flap wafting in the breeze. I'm like, what the motherfucking point is the butt flap?
Okay, I mean, I don't know quite why that is the final straw for you.
It really pissed me off.
But it clearly is. Butt flap or no butt flap. You clearly vote no butt flap.
I vote no butt flap so fucking firmly. I cannot even begin to explain how angry that butt flap made me.
Right.
And I know it's a ridiculous thing. It's a butt flap. But the point is, the butt flap pissed me off.
Absolutely fair enough.
Number two.
Yeah.
Right? I know it's got the history in the comic books.
The name.
I cannot take them seriously when they're talking about Steppenwolf. Maybe it was ruined by the band. Maybe it's just because Steppenwolf is a stupid word.
So, Budlovians, right? To give you a glimpse of our conversations today, because we bottle a lot of our conversations so we can have them with you.
We deal.
I and J.J. Barnes contrasted the character of Steppenwolf in this film to the
Ronan.
character of Ronan the Accuser in
because
Guardians
it was
of the Galaxy.
so similar. When Ronan is talking to Thanos in his ridiculous floating chair,
even then there's a weird sort of hologrammatic.
Yeah, exactly. It's very similar. It's like, why is Thanos on a floating stone throne? Who knows? It's ridiculous, right? But it's the same thing. You've got your dark side or your guy with the weird necklace in the float, like the fire dripping chocolate bar, right? And then you've got...
fire, though. No fire. It was all chocolate.
Yeah. But then you've got Steppenwolf, or you've got Thanos and Ronan. Yeah. Like Ronan and Steppenwolf are essentially the same character. They're out-conquering worlds and destroying people. That's their shtick. I
feel like there's more personal history between Steppenwolf and Darkseid than there is between Ronan and Thanos. Thanos and Ronan are more professional.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas Steppenwolf has this sort of sense of like, I let Darkseid down, I betrayed him, I failed him.
Yeah.
And Darkseid sort of reciprocates that "you failed me" vibe.
I agree.
Whereas Thanos and Ronan are more, I get you to do this for me and I do this for you. Then we're all
agree.
But ultimately, role-wise, yes,
it's the same character. And when he's talking to Ronan, like all I could hear was Ronan Keating.
Of course, you say it best when you say nothing at all.
Exactly, right? But equally so, it didn't bug me as much. I was just like, oh, right, this character is also called Ronan.
Guardians of the Galaxy is 10 times the film that either of the versions of this film is. Steppenwolf. You'd be fine with it if it was on the same level of quality that Guardians of the Galaxy is. Yes!
Because there's too many...
You were fine with Ronan.
Yeah,
Ronan Keating the Accuser.
No, but the thing is, like, it's a name. Ronan, Charlotte, Margaret, these are names, right? So you can apply them to different people. Steppenwolf is just a bunch of noises shoved together.
Characters from comic book movies have stupid names.
No, not this stupid.
Yes.
Steppenwolf.
Much more stupid. If you really look at them, Batman is a stupid name.
I agree. To be fair, Batman,
Superman,
Cat Batman. Please don't take this personally.
Like, Superman is not a subtle name to give to a character. In this movie,
the one that really stuck out to me was they call me Martian the Manhunter.
Not Martian the Manhunter. The Martian Manhunter.
I was like watching it. I'm like, do they?
Yeah.
That's like.
Some have called me the Martian Manhunter.
Come in for a beer.
There was also known as
not Bob. He can't be Bob. He has to be the.
When he meets Aquaman, he's like Arthur Curry, also known as the Aquaman. He's literally also known as. It might as well write it on screen, aka Aquaman. And the other one, which was awful, was when Aquaman said English when Cyborg was.
Oh my god, I hate that as well. It's like someone says something intelligent and somebody has to say English, please.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't in English, please. It's English, but still, you know, in Community, Arbed says, "I hate to be the we've got company guy." But and that's all you got to do. Just have Aquaman say, "Look, I hate to be the English guy, but I did not understand." Right? And then the line is better. It works then. It's not just the same shit that we've seen for 30 years.
Self-awareness. If you want to talk about
self-awareness. This film has no self-awareness at all.
It is incredibly pretentious.
It is.
All the way through.
Yes.
And as you say, the self-awareness. My love of that Wonder Woman scene.
Which one?
The first one, the introduction scene with the little girl.
She's saving the kids, saving the little girls.
Right. As I say, I was watching it and I was genuinely very moved by it because I was imagining our little girls watching it, and you know how much they have played Wanda and Agatha.
Yeah.
And like they have named toys Wanda and Agatha. Like they're planning on naming their daughters Wanda and Agatha. Like they fucking love girl superheroes, and I was picturing them watching that scene.
Yeah,
and
but
I'm
Wanda
like,
and Agatha got to drive the action throughout the entire series, not just.
Yeah, I'm literally just talking about that scene.
Yeah,
I wouldn't show them anything else because they would die of boredom. But if they watched that scene, they would be all over it. They would love it. They would be thrilled, right?
They'd be terrified. Buffy, I don't think, would cope because it's really frightening. He's about to shoot.
I know, but I think they would still love it.
Right.
But, right, when the little girl doesn't get up and she's like, "Can I be like you one day?"
Yes.
I'm like, you've killed it for me. Until then, when she's like, get up, like, it's okay. I was like, this is great. It's very human because you don't often see the after they've been saved moment.
I couldn't agree
but her
more.
going along being like, get up, like she's relating to them on a personal level. I'm like, when that little girl didn't get up, I was like, great, we're going to have some schmaltzy bullshit now. And like that little girl, honestly, it's not her fault because she's beautiful and great and she acts it really well. She's great. It was just so bloody corny.
Honestly, we're not subtle, right? But
subtlety is for little men.
Right. Somebody said that.
Somebody. We
won't mention his name.
we know. No, we're not subtle.
But
we're not schmaltzy.
And also, like there's got to be some awareness of like
of path trod before.
Yeah,
this isn't the first on this. Like, this is not the
For
first
me,
rodeo for cinema.
No, it's not.
This has been done,
and that's why the English.
Yeah,
is
because you like.
I sighed audibly. Oh.
I know you did. Your sigh audibly did not compete at all with my constant yelling of fury.
Yes, you were very upset at various points.
I said to Jonathan, if we were taking a shot for every single time they used slow-mo, right, we'd be dead within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because the constant slow-mo.
Yeah.
All the time. Everything they did. And you know what else pissed me off, right? It wasn't just the constant slow-mo. It was the constant posing and wafting.
Mm.
The bat signal appears in the sky, and Batman isn't like, oh, gotta go and deal with that. He stands majestically with his knee up on the thing, staring, wafting in the breeze. Doesn't move. Like, Wonder Woman stands, staring, wafting. Things are happening. Right, they've got the water, right, from the fucking thing. Aquaman is there, doing his fucking best to stop this water, and they just stand there wafting majestically, watching it.
And Cyborg loses his shit. He's like, Diana, get on the fucking thing.
I'm like, fucking right. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, are we just gonna stand around?
Right.
Every time the fucking camera pans and they're all just standing in sequence, wafting majestically. I was ready to kill. I was fuming.
Right.
I'm like, get a fucking move on. There's shit going on. Get a wiggle on. You've got shit happening.
Yes.
Get your ass into action.
Pod Levian's J.J. Barnes did say many a time, get a wiggle on.
I did say get a wiggle on. I say that to my children when they're putting their school shoes on in the morning. I will say it to superheroes when they're standing around. They're taking time out of actual plot, actual shit happening.
So,
like,
when
world at danger, you do not have time to stand around wafting majestically in the breeze. Get a fucking wiggle on.
When the Flash is applying for a job, and his girlfriend Iris West, or the girl he fancies, who clearly fancies him back, by the way,
is staring through the window, just driving along the road.
She's driving with her eyes not on the road.
You know what pissed me off in that scene?
Every little detail about it.
Well, I really dislike Ezra Miller.
Yes, you do, but forget that, because that's not the film's fault.
No, but it plays into my hatred.
Fair enough.
Right.
Okay,
you know what? I've had some wine. I'm bracing myself for hatred from the Snyder fans.
I want to... Yeah, okay.
I know you do. That's fine. Guys, right, Snyder people, like, you can just not be mean to him. Just put it on me.
No, I'm saying I want to talk about what I don't like about that scene too.
Yeah, I dislike Ezra Miller. But also, right, she's flipping up in the air. I mean, he stands there moving her hair out of her eyes. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Does this woman plunging to her death not look attractive enough for you? Is her hair out of line? Are you so fucking focused on how this woman looks?
Judith, there's romantic music playing though.
I don't give a fucking fuck.
There's a nice song.
Honestly, you get a close-up on a peanut slowly floating through the air. I'm like, I don't give a shit about the peanut.
Oh my god.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about the peanut. A woman is plunging to her death. Do we not maybe need to take time away from the floating slow-mo peanut to let Ezra Miller brush a woman's hair out of her face because she doesn't look attractive enough for her death?
The tendency to focus on images that have no relevance at all.
We focus very slow-mo of a gate closing on a ship.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. I'm interested in the story.
The tendency to focus on an image that has no meaning, no personal meaning to anyone.
No meaning.
Was killing me.
It was, honestly, the fucking hot dog floating past the screen. I'm like...
And he pulled it back a little when he feeding it to the dog.
No.
That's why I say a little.
Yeah,
because
I knew it was coming. As soon as he did that, as soon as he pocketed it,
I just thought he wanted to eat it himself. But
no, I was like, no, he's applying for a dog job. He's going to feed it the dog. I'm like, you're not being clever here. You're not surprising anyone. I get
No,
it.
the problem, the core of the problem is when he straightens her fucking hair.
I was fuming. Honestly, I cannot express how cross I was.
That is... there are so many moments in the first 2 hours of Zack Snyder's Justice League where I decided never to watch anything by this director ever again.
You actually said, I'm starting to question if I actually like movies.
I did in that first 2 hours, yeah. Because I was.
Not just in the first 2 hours. There was loads of posing and wafting in the whole...
There was posing and wafting in the second half, but it was the first half that really made me utterly miserable about the experience of watching films at all.
Like, why am I here? I'm not here to watch a slow motion peanut. I want to watch a story. And it was like...
The story kept
literally could possibly be slow-mo.
The story kept no. Lots of things that couldn't possibly be slow-mo were slow-mo. So the story kept literally slowing down when I wanted it to hurry up, and that's why I'm saying it was painful to watch. It was hard to watch. I looked forward to watching it, and it alienated me so quickly that I don't know, because the internet is loving this film. Like, I don't know if it's just Twitter bots or a lot of Army fans, people who love Zack Snyder.
I know, because
determined to love this film no matter what it is.
I looked at the hashtag Snyder Cut, and
people love it.
I'm like, what is wrong with you? Have you never experienced story before? Like, why? Why do you like watching nothing happen? Literally, nothing happen. You are watching Aquaman walk down a deck from various angles, water sploshing him from various angles, slow-mo water sploshing.
So long.
And I'm like, look, the dude walks down the fucking deck, jumps in the sea. That's his shit, right? No, you have to watch it from so many angles. He slow-mo takes his shirt off. The water slow-mo hits him. He slow-mo smashes the bottle. I'm like, just fucking get there faster.
Because you know that the film is 4 hours long, every time it stops to show you something.
Oh my God.
Really slowly.
I'm like, I need more cheese or more wine because I cannot cope with sitting here staring at fucking nothing. When there's an actual story, because the story, world being threatened by super monster, superheroes banding together to save the world. Fucking yes, I'm in. Like, I am well in. Wonder Woman kicking some shit if I didn't hate Ezra Miller. Flash flashing around the place. Henry Cavill is a fucking great Superman. He is fucking brilliant. Like, I'm all for Batfleck. I know people didn't like Batfleck. I like a bit of Batfleck.
Snyder fans, they live and die by Batfleck.
Like, right, Snyder fans, I'm with you. I think Batfleck's great. Honestly, bloody Alfred.
Love him.
Love him. Bloody brilliant. Jeremy Irons, you are nailing that role. Like, I love Cyborg in this movie. I know you have thoughts on Cyborg, and I do want to hear them, right? But I do. I was like, right, I get this character now. I understand him. I didn't understand before. I also understand why Ray Fisher is pissed off.
Fuck the world.
Yes.
He says, fuck the world.
Well, we do think Snyder is a nihilist.
Well, Jesus Christ, we're getting into that. Into the we're already dead.
Yeah. But the point for me, right, I never got Cyborg. I didn't get Ray Fisher's beef. I'm watching this, I'm like, yeah, if Ray Fisher's acted this, like, he's acted his little heart out in all of these scenes.
He's patronising, right?
It's not.
Okay, alright, okay.
The point is, that is his craft, that is his art. He has committed hours and hours and hours to acting that role, and it all got chopped out. So I get the fact he's pissed off. I would be pissed off, right? Because he did something really good. To me, he acted that really fucking well, and it got sliced. Of course he's gutted, right? And I never got why he was gutted before and cross. I get it now. So there was so much good in this film that got ruined by how long they took between the good stuff to show fucking nothing.
Right. Shall I talk about the Cyborg and the Silas Stone stuff?
Right. Because I love the actor who plays Silas Stone, and I can't remember his name, but I've seen him in a whole bunch of stuff. I really like him. And in this, I like Ray Fisher, so I'm interested. Talk to me. Tell me your shit.
Okay. Right. This movie has a scene in which one of Zack Snyder's fingerprints is all over it, right? Which is the origin of Cyborg, right? Where Silas Stone, his father, is explaining what he's capable of doing, while we see various weird, not real images of what he's capable of, like it's playing out like it's inside Cyborg's head.
Yeah, he's imagining it.
Which culminates in him like giving $100,000 to some woman, and she's obviously very happy about it. It starts with him flying, right? With Cyborg flying, but it actually starts before that. Right? Podlovians, right? I have a theory about Zack Snyder. I think Zack Snyder worships his mother. If she is still alive, I don't know if she is.
The Marthas.
The Marthas and Cyborg's mother.
Yeah.
And despises his father in a way that speaks to something that happened in a car. Because in Man of Steel,
it's always cars.
In Man of Steel, they are driving along when Clark Kent denounces his father and really calls him out on his bollocks.
It's always cars.
And then it's after that that Jonathan Kent is killed by the tornado.
As soon as he was in the car with his mother, I was like, I said to you, I literally said, there's going to be a car crash.
There's going to be a slow motion crash.
I said slow-mo. It wasn't slow-mo.
It wasn't slow motion.
But I said, there's going to be a slow-mo crash and his mother's going to die.
And that is exactly what happened.
Except the slow-mo. I was wrong about the slow-mo.
Well, you got the aspect ratio, not aspect ratio, but you got the speed.
The car crash, the mother death.
You still nailed exactly what happened.
As soon as they were in that car.
The things that Silas Stone says to Victor Stone, to Cyborg, are pure, rarefied Zack Snyder in a nutshell, right? So there's a lot of information that is told to Cyborg by his father, right?
On the cassette tape.
On the cassette tape. And we had a little laugh about your physical strength is only the tip of the tip. Right? Stop talking about the tip of my tip.
Leave his tip alone.
Right? That was a joke. But
penis jokes are always good.
In this scene where Cyborg is discovering his powers and having the voiceover of his father telling him that in the world of ones and zeros you are the absolute master, no firewall can stop you, no encryption can defy you. He says, "We're all at your mercy, Vic." Right? Meaning Victor, his son. From our power grids to our telecommunications, everyone's lives are controlled and dominated by complex digital networks that will bend without effort to your will. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone's lives are controlled and dominated by complex digital networks that will bend without effort to your will, is what the father says to Cyborg, right?
Right.
That basically you are digital God. You can do whatever you fucking like. He then goes on to say the fate of the world will literally rest in your hands. Its entire nuclear arsenal you could launch with a thought, right?
Yes.
And then when Superman scans Cyborg, Cyborg's arm takes control, starts shooting at Superman, and he says, "It's my auto-defense system, it senses danger."
He can't control his own arm!
So
he's supposed to be so in control of all technology.
He could launch all of the nukes in the world with a thought, but he can't control his own body.
Right.
This is a tremendous inconsistency in the power granted to the characters.
I was really annoyed by that moment, but I hadn't sort of articulated it in my brain.
Well, that's because the story had told you that this is not possible. Not only is it not possible, it's this man, this robot, should be able to control not only his own arm, but any kind of mechanical thing,
anything,
anywhere in the world.
Yeah, you know what? I was watching that and I'm like, that's bullshit. But I hadn't put the thought train into action as to why it pissed me off. But it really pissed me off. So I'm glad there's an actual reason for why I was so cross. Because I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, make it stop. It's your own motherfucking arm. Make it stop.
Right.
Also, what if your arm decides that some kid with a lollipop is a threat? Like, what? You can't do anything?
The cell of the power, like the tip of the tip, the physical strength is only the tip of the tip. And then we get this massive fucking Snyder fest of visuals and audio that is all designed to make you go, wow, what a powerful guy this is. But the moment the story needs him to attack Superman, all of that gets just flushed out the window because we don't need it now. We only need it to be impressive then. And now what we need is for him to shoot Superman, so we'll just have him shoot Superman.
It's fucking bullshit is what it is.
Right? You cut it, and then you're Joss Whedon, right? Like, because you're in trouble.
Yeah.
But what do you keep if you cut that?
You just have Superman attack them.
No. What I mean is, because Superman isn't going to attack them. This is the problem with this and with the fight between Batman and Superman in Batman v Superman. Is that these fights are completely avoidable. And this fight...
By saying Martha.
Well, by saying Martha, but if Superman had just landed, or just stayed up above Superman, and stayed above Batman and said, Lex Luthor is crazy. He's got my mother and my partner, and he's been manipulating you. He's shown me pictures of the shit that that he's been sending you. So let's us team up and go and fight him. Don't attack me. I'm Superman. I can stop you from attacking me. Instead, I'm going to walk into all of your easy traps to avoid, so that we can fight. And then we're going to fight, even though we don't need to fight. And I don't want to fight.
You're right.
But the film needs them to fight. And
you know what annoyed me?
Go
right?
on. We are in that section, I suppose.
Right. He's like blasting Batman, and then Lois runs in, right?
Yeah.
He just flies off with her. He spends ages rubbing corn leaves, wandering around, doing nothing again. Literally.
Well, yeah, it's
doing nothing.
It's the fact that he's not doing anything that bothers you, because it's inactivity that is pissing you off the most.
You know what?
Film.
Right.
Both in terms of the story not doing anything, and the characters standing and looking dramatic but not actually doing anything.
If you bear in mind, like, my attitude to life in general, I really I find lack of motivation and lack of doing. I struggle with it. Even when it's not a story, even when it's actual people who just have absolutely no drive, I get incredibly wound up because I am riddled with drive and I don't understand. So watching characters who I'm like, I'm here for your story, right? I'm here, like I'm straddled in. I've got my cheese, I've got my wine. I'm rolling in for your story here. And they won't tell...
Why are you not rolling in for your story?
Why are you not rolling in for your story? Why are you wandering around rubbing corn leaves? Like, I get it. You're, like, having a moment.
So, in defense of that moment...
Yeah, it's, I grew up here.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's that he's just come back from the dead and he needs to adjust to being alive again.
But Jesus, do we need to see it for so long?
Yes, I think if we hadn't seen so much of other things for so long...
For so long! Everything is slow-mo. Everything is slowed down to the point I want to pull my own teeth out so I can have some kind of feeling about what's happening. Because everything that's happening is killing any desire I have to feel anything about this story and these characters has been so killed that I'm like, right, I'm here to do my tax return because I just need something to stimulate me.
Something to make me feel anything.
I was like, I need to go for a wee. We need to pause. I'm like, we probably don't need to pause because I could go for a wee, wash my hands, fill up my water glass, come back, and then we'd still be in the same shot of a floating peanut.
Mm-hmm. But we did pause when you left the room because you never know what's going to happen, and you don't want to miss anything.
Literally nothing happened.
No. Lots of things happened, but there was too much time when nothing happened.
Nothing.
Right? So I would argue that perhaps whittling this 4-hour movie down to 2 is going to leave it a little bit incomplete, right?
I would have said 3.
I think if you whittled it down to 3, you'd have enough.
Right.
And that's still a really long fucking movie.
Endgame was 3.
Yes.
And that was a really fucking long fucking film. Right? But it worked. And you can cope. Because they didn't spend so long doing nothing. Honestly, if they'd cut...
A 4-hour movie doesn't need to have so many slowed down moments.
Jesus Christ, if they'd cut If they'd cut every slow-mo in half, they'd have got down to 3.
Even if they just cut the slow-mos in the first 2 hours, they'd have got it down to 3. I'm pretty
let
sure,
them
because
walk. They don't have to slow walk. You don't have to stand them.
it kept happening. It just kept happening over and over again.
Right,
They would slow down.
When I've been editing...
I started laughing because...
I know, because it's like, of course it's slow again.
It's slow again.
Right, Podlovians. So, our little indie movie that I mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Because he's music, I'm visuals. So I've been editing the visuals. And I have been, like, zooming in to microseconds of our film to slice moments, like, microseconds, literally microseconds, to make sure that I'm not wasting the audience's time. I'm like, I don't need them sitting around waiting for the next person to speak. I'm going to make sure that they speak. Like, I let it linger on nice shots for a moment, but if it's too long, I'm like, no, slice that fucker, because you don't need your audience sitting around like, Jesus Christ, fucking tell me something is happening. And I'm like, what were they doing? Who edited this shit? Why have they not sliced a motherfucking chunk out of this?
2 things happened while I was watching this film today, right? 2 things that I never thought would happen to me, right?
Go on then.
Number 1, I started to have sympathy for actors who want to scribble out lines from the script, right? When you have, I think it's Batman saying like, oh, then Steppenwolf must have the other box. And then you have Cyborg land.
He's like, no, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. And you see the camera show the mother box, and then he goes, I do.
It's not to say I do.
You can scribble that out. I have on this very podcast said, not on this podcast tonight, but on this
this feed,
said, like, I don't like it when actors decide that lines are unnecessary, but somebody needed to say that line is unnecessary.
Somebody.
The I do is unnecessary because the camera says I do by showing the fucking mother box.
And they'd have lost 3 seconds.
Right? So there's one.
I know 3 seconds sounds like nothing Podlovians, but when you
do
are
it a lot,
slicing seconds here, it adds up when you slice out unnecessary seconds.
And this is building to the second point, right? And there's a few of these moments where, especially in the first 2 hours, which I feel are the sloppiest.
Really, just God,
by a mile.
Why are we spending so long on that guy with his briefcase when he has nothing to do with the plot? It's just an intro for Wonder Woman, who we know, who we've met. Right. You don't need to spend
you don't need 20 seconds, 25, 30 seconds with the briefcase man.
You don't need all that time.
And God forgive us, Snyder people, but the Joss Whedon version was cut in a more entertaining way. If you talk about that scene on its own, the Wonder Woman intro, it was more entertaining the first time.
Because we know Wonder Woman, we know what she does. You intro her
It was quicker. Like, I'm not saying that like quick is always good. Like,
no,
this is a 4-hour movie. You don't need to spend
literally.
So anyway,
Jesus Christ, you know Wonder Woman. You let her have her intro, badass, boom, 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 fighting off, saving kids, done.
So there's the line about what was it? The line that I said needed. Oh yeah, he doesn't have the box.
Yeah.
I do. There's a bunch of those lines in the first 2 hours, lots of them, and I kept thinking this over and over again. And I started to feel bad about myself because I've always been like, actors shouldn't just decide lines are unnecessary. But someone should have decided that about this film. And then the other thing that I've always hated in my very, very bones
English.
is when no, not that, but when critics talk about pacing. Because most of the time, when anybody talks about pacing, I've seen people on the internet today, that is to say Thursday the 18th of March, talking about how this film is paced better than the 2017 film.
I do writing advice videos, and I have done pacing multiple times.
Right. I just think that people who don't know anything about storytelling talk about pacing because they don't know how else to talk about it. You talk about storytelling all kinds of aspects.
May I just say that the pacing in this film cut me deep.
This is what I'm saying.
This
film is the reason why I'm going to have sympathy for anyone who complains about pacing ever again. Because this is the slowest film I've ever seen in my life.
One of the things I say is like when you have a fast-paced action scene, you like if the action in that scene is supposed to be fast, you make your story fast because it reflects the characters, it reflects the movement.
The scene where the Joker in the Dark Knight, not the Joker from the end of this film, because God Almighty, the scene from the Dark Knight where the Joker steals from the mob bank at the start of the film.
Yeah.
It moves so fucking fast.
Yeah, boom,
you get like 2 seconds
mask taken off, boom.
2 seconds of the building, right? And the camera is moving towards the building. Everything is happening quickly.
Because
the scene where
that's the point.
The scene in Justice League, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, where the English French people are trying to blow up a school, like a building full of children.
Money.
It happens so slowly.
And I'm like, the whole point of this scene is there's seconds. Honestly, Wonder Woman comes in, and I was like, great, and she just stands there.
For so long.
And
when she gets to it, when they start trying to shoot, it's good.
Yeah, but that's because she's moving. But they spend ages with her just standing with her hair wafting. If you don't understand pacing, right? Quick lesson, very quick. I won't go on, right? If your characters aren't going to stand around thinking about their hair wafting, your story shouldn't either, right? Basically, if you're doing a slow scene where it's romantic, or it's slow, or it's thoughtful, where their hair might waft and they might think about the wind in their hair, then you spend some time on that. If the fucking bomb is about to go off and your character isn't going to think about their hair wafting, don't show their fucking hair wafting.
Interestingly enough, Heath Ledger's Joker had long hair. There were no shots of his hair wafting in the first scene from The Dark Knight.
Oh my God, Jared Leto's hair is wafting all the time. Everybody's hair wafts. They waft cloaks, they waft hair, they just waft. Everything wafts. I'm sick of the word waft. But everything wafts. They waft all the time. Everything, if it can waft, they waft it.
But Heath Ledger, at the beginning of The Dark Knight, he gets in, he gets out. He does what he's there to do. And the story benefits because it rattles along quickly.
It's fast and exciting.
And now, Podlovians, I am a pacing wanker.
You're a pacing wanker.
Because now I care about pacing. And I've never cared about pacing.
I've
always felt like pacing is something that critics who don't know how to tell stories talk about when they don't know what else to criticize. So they say, oh, the pacing was bad.
I have been a pacing wanker for ages. I have written and YouTubed about pacing a lot.
Yes, but now I'm also a pacing wanker because
welcome to my pacing club.
This film needed to be shortened significantly so that the first 2 hours became probably 1 and 20, and that would have still been a 3 hours and 20-minute film.
I would have shortened the whole fucking lot.
To 2 hours and then been Joss Whedon.
I would say 2.5 to 3.
Uh-huh.
You slice out all the posing and wafting.
Well, this is the problem, right?
You just didn't
This is the problem because this story can't really function if you shorten it. And that's why we're in this situation. That's why no one watched this. No, but it can't, because that's why no one watched this in the cinema. The thing they watched in the cinema was something else. It was a weird...
I would have sliced a hell of a lot.
I know, but then it's not this. You know, Christopher Nolan, right? Say what you like about Christopher Nolan. He writes his script, or he gets someone to write his script with him, or he gets someone to write his script for him. And then he goes, right, this is my script. I'm going to shoot this, and then I'm going to edit this, and then this is my film.
That's how I do it.
That's also how I do it.
Yeah.
I don't write 5 hours of material that I then choose what to get rid of because I don't care about it when it's happening on screen, because then audiences don't understand what the point is.
I cannot understand the idea of writing extra so you can cut shit. I'm like, no, if I write it, it's...
And the reason why it
exists for a reason.
The reason why this is such a bloody slog is because Zack Snyder doesn't think like that. He's not like, this is what the story needs. He's just like, these are the things I want to see. And then...
But my point is, I would have been able to cut this down. I am slicing microseconds out of our film.
Yeah, but you slice microseconds. You take out all the slow-mo in the first 2 hours. You'll have a slightly less aggravated response from you and me. But a lot of people on Twitter are perfectly happy with this film taking the time it takes.
Why are you so happy to watch nothing?
I'm not.
No, Podlovians.
I don't know why they are. I think a lot of it is because they've fought for this. They fought to
release
get
the Snyder
this.
Cut.
Like, you can't get there and be like, oh God, this is a bit boring, isn't it? Get to the point. Get there faster.
Look, Podlothians, right? If you're here because you loved it, to be fair, they probably won't have kept listening.
Oh, they'll have turned us off in rage by now, yeah.
But if you have stuck around and you are someone who fought for the Snyder Cut, I'm going to ask that you explain why you wanted this. Because there were so many moments of brilliance, like we've talked about them. So many moments of brilliance that tells me that the creator of this film is capable of doing brilliance and then just decides, for whatever who knows reason, to torture us by making us wait for 80 hours between each moment of brilliance, so much so that I want to kill somebody because I'm so frustrated watching a slow motion peanut when that has nothing to do with the fucking, literally, right? That girl in the car, nothing to do with the story.
We talk about
literally nothing to do with the story. She accomplishes nothing.
Okay, but Iris West, right? Even if you just talk about the scene, right? The scene is between Barry and Iris, right? This is, if you're a comic books fan, you know Barry. Allen,
I know.
You know Iris West. But the thing is, right? So it's setting up something for comic book fans, and that isn't necessarily enough. Because
it's not.
This movie isn't for comic book fans. It's for people putting on a film.
I know.
But
Iris West,
Jude,
Barry,
listen.
but
listen, right? There is a point to this. That scene has to do with them. Okay, so if you just take like the moment that he first spots her and the moment that she first spots him, right up until the point when they're both staring at each other and he has to vanish because he's the Flash and etc. You just take that. That's
their relationship.
Right? No. Forget their relationship. Just a piece of filmmaking that you've watched, right? Forget everything that came before, after, your personal feelings about Ezra Miller, everything, right? Just that. That is what that scene is about. That they have a connection, and she's in peril and he saves her, right?
Yeah.
The peanut, because the guy with the big truck, right? The guy with the big truck is the problem in this scene. The conflict really is between Barry and Iris, and they are looking at each other they shouldn't be. Barry should be focusing on his job interview. Iris should be focusing on the road. They are locked in conflict. They shouldn't be doing what they're doing.
In the Flash, he's known her for a very long time.
Right. But that's not. That's nothing to do with this scene.
All right.
This scene, they might have known each other for a long time, or they may never have met before. It doesn't matter. As far as this scene is depicted, the guy in the lorry is the problem. The problem that's about to hit their conflict, right? And so he's rooting for his sandwich. And again, it's like watching Final Destination, but for fucking 5 hours, because it goes on for so long.
He's rooting for that sandwich on the floor. I'm like, you're not going to eat it anyway. It's covered in flour.
He's constantly reaching for his fucking sandwich. Then there's the crash and it slows down. And dear God in heaven, the romantic song starts playing.
Oh no!
And he's then you see the peanut, or whether it's a peanut or a bit of bread or a sesame seed or whatever the fuck it is. Zack Snyder, God love you, God bless you, but no one cares about the sesame seed or the whatever that is that comes flying up. Nobody cares.
I don't care.
It doesn't enrich anybody's experience of watching this film whatsoever. It has no business being on screen. It is contentless. It is without content. It commentates nothing about anything. So the only thing worth the objects of this scene, this piece, are Barry and Iris. But there is nothing that is enlightened about them, either of them, both individually or together as a couple, by that fucking bit of food that flies up into the sky. It's just that it visually attracts the eye. He's just literally got to put something to his crow eyes.
It's visual wanking.
Yeah.
But the problem is, right, Iris, never see her again in this story. The guy with the briefcase, you never see him again in this story. Like, having character intros that are ultimately irrelevant. Like, Ezra Miller Flash, Barry Allen, isn't called to action in the Justice League by that scene in the pet shop. He's not. It's in the milk shop where he's buying milk. That scene has literally nothing to do with the story.
It's true.
Nothing. so lose it. Because what is the point?
Well, Joss Whedon did lose it, but then he was slammed because it had a woman of colour in it, and therefore it was seen as some kind of
But she is not
choice.
being given any kind of agency. She doesn't speak. She drives off staring at a boy, and then she nearly dies, but he's saved after he manages to move her hair out of her face so she looks beautiful. Fuck that. That is not giving a woman of colour or a woman of anything any kind of agency or respect. She's a prop piece to introduce that guy.
Well, yeah, in this film, she is a prop.
She's a prop.
Iris is not a prop in terms of Barry Allen's story outside of this film.
No, and
but
as
in terms of this film,
in The Flash, the series, she's incredibly important.
It's even weaker than that because in this film, there is no hint. There's certainly nothing explicit to confirm that he has a prior relationship with her.
Nothing.
He has an eye contact moment with her,
but if she knew him like she does in like the story, she'd have been like, Barry, like something. No, it's lingering gazes as if, I'm magically attracted to you.
Yeah, he fixes her hair because apparently she then looks more savable.
What the fuck? Oh my gosh, it made me so cross. And as I say, like, everything we see about why Batman and Wonder Woman go looking for him is based on the scene with the milk, that he's gone for one frame. That scene has nothing at all to do with why he's there. It's pointless.
Undeniably true that there is no purpose for the scene with Iris in this story.
Nothing.
But that isn't to say that therefore it doesn't belong in this comic book movie, because comic book movies do have moments like this.
Oh, sure, but you don't spend so fucking long.
Oh, no, you absolutely shouldn't be slowing down.
She's not given a name.
No, she's not given a name.
She's not given a name. She's not Iris.
Are we sure?
She does not have a name in this.
Because I know that she plays Iris West in this film, but I don't know.
But she doesn't
speak. She's just in the car.
She doesn't speak. She walks out of the shop. She gets into a car. She drives off, staring at Ezra Miller. She is not given any kind of character. The only reason she's Iris West is because in the credits it says that. She is not a character. She's nothing.
Which is true of Jimmy Olsen as well in BVS.
Like, she should be given. She should. Like, Iris West and Barry Allen is a thing. And if you're going to put her in your movie, give her the fucking respect of putting her in your movie. If you're not going to respect her enough to give her a name and a line, then don't put her in your movie.
I mean, ultimately, I think that the complaint about the speed, like the slowdown, is legit. I think that the inclusion of her and like calling her what her name is, I think it's fine but I mean, I agree that it's not necessary. But if you live in a world where you get to make a 4-hour movie that the whole world gets to watch, then fuck it. Yeah, if that's what interests you as a director, then you put it in there.
Sure.
But then we're allowed to be like, well, I don't care.
Give the woman a role.
Also, this isn't going anywhere. Like, Zack Snyder, the director, has said that this is a cul-de-sac. It's a dead end.
So why set up all that bollocks with the dream sequence? Lord above the dream sequence.
Podlovian friends, right? Before we get into the dream sequence, right? I'm just going to murky up this conversation even more by saying, in the TV show Angel, right? The executive producer of which is Joss Whedon, who I'm sure if you're this far into a podcast about Zack Snyder's Justice League, you love him.
I do. I know I'm not allowed to, but I'm just throwing it out there.
He may or may not be a lovely person or a piece of shit. We don't know. We've never met him.
I like his writing. I'm here for the writing.
Well, he's a good writer. So, the point is, in an episode of Angel, there's a character called Lorne who is, throughout this episode, which was written by Joss Whedon, he's telling the story of what happened to us, the audience, right? And at the end, when the audience in the crowd listening to Lorne, the character who's narrating, they want to know what happens next. They're like shouting, what happens next? What happens next? And Lorne says, always leave them wanting more. That's the secret rule, or something like that. Like, always leave them wanting more. That's the rule. Something like that. Yeah. And that's what this film is trying to do, I think, is trying to leave you wanting more, because you get the...
But why make them want more if you're saying I'm not going to make more?
Well, why
Trust me, it doesn't make me want more.
Why end the TV show Angel the way that the TV show Angel ends?
Yeah, but
when
why?
That's the series finale.
I agree. I think that was a bit of a fuck you. But
well, no, because Joss Whedon got to make the movie Serenity because Firefly was abruptly finished.
But Angel, they didn't get to make an Angel movie, and it was cancelled early. So he was like, "I'm going to make people fight for this."
Motivating your fans to demand more has worked for Zack Snyder.
Okay, right. You're right. Okay, motivating your fans to want more. But if the director isn't saying, "I want to make more,"
but he's playing a game. In this reading of this scenario, I think Zack Snyder would love to make the next one because he'd get paid fortunes and he'd be worshipped by all of his Snyder zombies.
We saw that really ridiculous Jesus Joker image. That wasn't in it. That wasn't there. We didn't see that.
No, there was no Jesus Joker.
So what the fuck was that?
It was probably just a picture that he took.
Right.
He takes photos. He's a photographer.
So that wasn't like a. Because I was like, okay. I kept waiting. I'm like, when are we going to see Jesus Joker? I'm like, I want to see what the context is for this. I want to know what that was about.
This is part of the problem I've got with watching Justice League both in 2017 and 2021 because I've not enjoyed either of these films.
No,
and not because they're bad. They might be. The original, the 2017, might be. Incomplete, and some of the jokes might not work for you because you like Zack Snyder films and they're too, fun.
Zack Snyder films are maudlin.
Or you might be the other way. You might be like, no, I love the Zack Snyder. No, I love the Joss Whedon. But nobody's like that. So
I like jokes in the Joss Whedon one.
I like some of the jokes too. I like some of the jokes in this version.
I like some of the jokes in this.
I enjoyed finding out which ones were still in it. Because
I did as well.
I honestly didn't always know. I'd heard that when in the 2017 version, when the Flash draws on the guy's face, he quickly draws like a silly pen ink mustache and silly eyebrows and stuff on a guy in the prison. I'd heard that wasn't reshoots and that form must have been in the original, but it's not in this one.
No,
so I assume that Joss Whedon reshot that. But anyway, it's not because the films are bad, although people might think that they are. It's because when I sat down and watched the 2017 Justice League in the cinema, I knew what the furore around it was. I didn't know quite how bad it was.
Yeah,
but I knew, I was a fan of Zack Snyder and a fan of Joss Whedon, but I never wanted them to work together because
different storytelling.
They're so different. I didn't ever want to see them collaborate. And I know it's not a collaboration, it's a Frankenstein. But ultimately, what you were left with, I didn't want. So from the moment that the Everybody Knows song starts, where you go through all the shots of, the world without Superman and stuff in the 2017 version, from the moment that started, I was just like, this is just sad. It's not entertaining at all. Some of the jokes were funny, but the story, I could not engage with the emotions of the characters. And watching this 4-hour gargantuan behemoth of a thing today, I've had the same problem. I have not engaged with any of the emotional content whatsoever. And I'm not saying that it's because of the filmmaking, that the filmmaking didn't connect me to the emotions. I'm saying that my knowledge of what's gone on around this has made it a purely... it's made it a purely intellectual endeavor.
My problem is, I am a sap. I'm a real sap. I cry at everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I genuinely do. I cry real easy. And you'd think that Lois seeing Clark, Martha seeing
getting
Clark,
out of the car and coming to see him,
you'd think that would move me. Literally nothing.
Nothing.
The only time I was actually moved and teared up was the Wonder Woman scene at the beginning. And that wasn't because of it was because I was thinking about our girls watching it.
Yeah.
And I was imagining them playing Wonder Woman. And I was like, this is amazing. I was like, this is the thing I want them to see. This is beautiful.
This goes back all the way to Man of Steel for me, because in 2013, it was the year that Zeke was born, I went to see Man of Steel, and I had a great time, and I was really happy, and I thought it was a great film. And then afterwards, the reaction to it was so negative, just so utterly negative, that I was like, oh, right, well, my response feels like it's been invalidated by the the wider population.
Okay, so
and then and now it's kind of the opposite, because at the moment the wider population is having a positive response, and I'm not.
I looked because I hashtagged Snyder Cut on my Twitter, and I was like, right, I'm gonna see what other people are saying, because I've hashtagged it, right? I want to see it, and I was like, oh my god, everyone's like, this is the death of Joss Whedon. Zack Snyder has killed Joss Whedon because he's shown what a real film should be. And I'm like, what? Did we watch the same film?
I mean, it's...
Like, don't get me wrong. The first Justice League I saw did nothing for me. I have no desire to watch it again. I literally fell asleep.
If somebody puts a gun in my head and says you've got to watch one of them, I'm watching the 2017 one.
I'm watching the short one. Because, my God, I have sat
I can't watch this again.
I can't watch it again. I can't. I have life to live. I have things to do. I have... Like, my life needs to go on, and I feel like my life will turn into slow-mo if I try and watch this again. Everything will go in slow motion, and I need my pizza to land in my mouth at a speed that is required, not
I hear you.
Slow motion with the cheese slowly dripping in my mouth, slowly.
And 2017 Justice League's got a little more humour.
More humour.
And 2 hours less of people standing about.
So much standing around wafting. Like, there's so many moments I thought, I've got to talk about this in the podcast, right? But that happened so many times that it got to the point where I'm like, basically, if you look around, watch this movie, and if they stand around doing fucking nothing, posing with either their hair or their capes wafting, assume that's what I'm complaining about, because it kept happening over and over. I'm like, oh, fucking just move.
It is a reliable belief that she was indeed complaining, because you did audibly.
Every fucking time.
You got very upset about the horses.
I really got upset about the horses.
But that wasn't so much Snyder, Whedon, it was more just...
I don't like horses being... I don't like animals being killed.
But that wasn't real. I'm sure that they did not actually overturn horses.
Sure, I'm just saying, I do not enjoy watching animals be hurt or killed. I'm much, much happier watching human beings be hurt and killed than I am animals.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't understand a lot of this film. I don't understand the choices that were made.
You didn't tell me about why your problem is Silas.
Well, it was to do with his. He gave it the big sell about what a
I thought maybe it was like a relationship with the.
Because I actually liked Silas Stone the rest of the time.
That's why I was confused. But no, it makes sense if it is literally that he said this. Like, if it's a story inconsistency, then that makes sense.
It's not just a story inconsistency. It makes Silas Stone seem like the dumbest dumb person that ever dumbed anything.
Yeah.
Because he goes on and on and on. I mean, I wrote it down because it was so fucking long. From our power grids to our telecommunications, everyone's lives are controlled and dominated by complex digital networks that will bend without effort to your will, my son. Your will, cyborg. Yeah. Your will. They'll bend to your will. The fate of the world will literally rest in your hands. Its entire nuclear arsenal you could launch with a thought. And then when the story needs him to shoot Superman, he does it without being able to stop it. And it's his own fucking hand.
Yeah,
it's so dumb. And like,
that makes sense.
You just you ditch the nonsense about what a super powered, but Zack Snyder is obsessed with the super individual, right?
Yeah.
It's why he wanted to do the Fountainhead, which is like a weird alt-right thing. But then he endorsed Joe Biden, so he's not like a right-wing guy.
He wanted to do the Fountainhead.
Yes, but he's obsessed with the exceptional individual, right? Which is why...
That's the book that Robbie gives to Baby in Dirty Dancing.
Oh.
And tells her to read it. He says, read this, I think you'll like it.
I didn't know that.
It's after he treats Baby's sister like crap.
Right.
And she comes to him and she's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, and he's like, read this, I think you'll like it.
Right. Well, yeah, it's about an architect who's like the most brilliant... And it's about individualism, and it was Ayn Rand.
Ayn Rand.
And it is now considered a sort of alt-right manifesto in fiction.
It's just interesting. I didn't know he wanted to make that.
Well, but like in Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan is depicted exactly the same.
You're right.
Cyborg in this, and Man of Steel, Superman is depicted exactly the same. There's always not in so much in terms of Watchmen, but in in just Zack Snyder's Justice League and in Man of Steel 2013, there are terrible fathers who are also weirdly inconsistent and constantly telling their sons that they are like the most special, whilst also being hated by their sons. And in Jonathan Kent, like, because Clark Kent has two fathers in Man of Steel, and we hear them in Zack Snyder's Justice League. They are both bombarding him while he's walking through his Fortress of Solitude, but whereas Jor-El tended to be more like, you'll accomplish wonders, you'll lead them into the sun, blah blah blah. That's taken from All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison. Jonathan Kent is just the worst Superman dad that ever Superman dadded on screen or in a comic book. Kevin Costner's
hide who you are.
Yes, yeah.
Pretend you aren't you.
When he says, "What was I supposed to do? Let them die?" after he saves a bunch of kids on the school bus, he says, "Maybe."
Yeah.
Fuck off.
He's like,
that's Superman.
You like, don't be you. Hide the truth of who you are. Don't be yourself.
And it's not noble because he allows himself to die.
Yeah.
On that same hill. Like, it feels like it's supposed to be convincing. Like, oh no, I was right about maybe you should have let those kids die because I'm willing to let myself die. But no, Jonathan Kent, you're just a fucking lunatic. That's all wrong. It's all wrong.
You know what? Dean Cain, right, he used to whip off his suit, whiz around, save people, and then land back in his suit again and be like, oh, look, I was here all along. He did that week after week. There is no reason Henry Cavill could not do that. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
It was the best Superman for me.
Well, I like the...
Okay, yeah, alright. Okay, fine. Christopher Reeve's Superman. Also, Christopher Reeve's better human being.
Better than who?
Dean Cain.
Oh, I thought you were slamming on Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill's all right.
Henry Cavill's fine. But of my two favourite...
Dean Cain's a bit of a Tory, isn't he?
He's a bit of a right-winger.
Yeah, an American Tory.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, I'm not saying he's evil for being right-wing.
No, he's allowed his own political views.
But I mean, just in terms of aligning myself with a political view.
So how about this for a pitch?
But also, I still love Dean Cain's Superman 100%.
How's this for a pitch? You get modern Henry Cavill being Superman in the Daily Planet with Terry Hatcher, but with John Williams' music. Dun, 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 dun,
you know what? Because Henry Cavill,
wouldn't that be a show?
He's a great Superman. I would 100%. I wouldn't even need it to be Terry Hatcher, but just that setup. I would love
the newsroom.
A weekly show where half an hour where Superman bops up and he saves people and he falls in love with Lois Lane and she's resistant because she's in love with Superman, not Clark Kent. And I would love it because that, to me, that is what this moody, melodramatic, pretentious bollocks is just annoying.
Let's be fair to Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Why?
Superman is not moody in this. When he comes back, he's obviously a bit mental. Yeah, but once he gets himself back, he's actually the best version of Superman we've seen.
Yes, I agree. But so much of the modern Superman stuff is just so miserable.
Yeah, but we're not talking about BVS or Man of Steel.
No, I'm talking about what I would like to see from Superman going forward is to be not such a fucking misery. And
that's what we got today. He wasn't a misery.
Oh, but it took fucking ages to get someone who's not a misery.
But that's not Superman's fault.
Well, we can agree to disagree.
Okay, you think it's Superman's fault.
I think it's everybody's fault.
I think it's the filmmaker's fault.
I would like Superman working at the Daily Planet as Clark Kent, fancying Lois. Lois fancying Superman. I would like her to be confused by the fact that if he takes off his glasses and uses hair gel, she can't tell who he is.
But she's like, you look familiar and you look a lot like that guy who I'm in love with.
Right? That is what I want. That is what I want. I'm sick of this moody, dark, miserable, slow motion, grumpy, pointless misfest that makes me want to pull my teeth out. So that's my I'm done for my podcast.
Okay. So thoughts and theories.
God knows, because that dream sequence.
I don't want to talk about it because Okay.
Is that dream sequence going to be a thing? Everyone, oh my god, all these people like, I want to see the Batman and Joker team up movie. I'm like, why? Because it was so boring.
Okay, so I didn't hate Batman and Joker, but by that point I just wanted it over.
I was just done. I'm like, oh my god, are we starting a new movie? Like,
You
what
literally said that.
Why is this happening?
I felt like you get the scene on the boat, which is reminiscent of the one from 2017, but it's slightly different because in this version, Lex Luthor says Batman's name is Bruce Wayne, whereas in the original he said we need to form a league of our own, right? Slight difference.
Was that reshoot or you just chose a different shot?
I think it was a reshoot that Joss Whedon insisted on because Joss Whedon tweeted at the time, I miss Gene Hackman, who used to play Lex Luthor in the old movies.
Yeah.
And I think he got some actor beef back
from Jesse
Eisenberg, much like he did from Victor Stone's actor, what's his name, Ray Fisher. And I think by that point, Joss Whedon, whether he's a good person or a bad person, I am not to comment, but by that point, I think he had had enough of actors not agreeing with him, right? And so he tweeted, I miss Gene Hackman.
So in this version, he says his name is Bruce Wayne. In this version,
he says his name's Bruce Wayne, which is, I think, a better ending because it's like the ending of Spider-Man Far From Home. It changes the game. And
what Joss Whedon, right?
We should form a league of our own because they've got a Justice League, and so we should form a league of our own. It doesn't actually change anything. It doesn't move anything.
I wouldn't have bothered fighting over the line, but whatever.
I wouldn't have bothered either, but like that's. I mean, we don't know for sure that Joss Whedon wanted a league of our own. It might have been that Warner Brothers wanted to not do the reveal of who Batman is, so Joss Whedon came up with a different line, and everybody had to get on board because you're being paid to work. You're not writing your own fucking comic book movies, so can you just say your fucking lines, please, right? That's entirely possible. That was Joss Whedon's attitude at the time, and he wasn't very nice to certain people who wanted to be treated more nicely. And so, after that scene where Lex Luthor says he's called Bruce Wayne, then in the next scene, it's the nightmare future, and then Deathstroke is working with Batman. And there's nothing in between.
Yeah.
There's nothing in between. This is the most incoherent filmmaking and storytelling that I've ever seen.
You've got Mira, you've got Deathstroke, you've got Joker.
You literally have to know what the point of the nightmare scenes is in order to understand that one line of events with meaning have moved into another line of events with meaning, because there is no connective meaning at all between Lex Luthor on the boat with Deathstroke and then Deathstroke in the nightmare future with Batman and Mira and the Flash in a weird robot suit.
I did not like the Flash's weird robot suit.
Well, no, because none of it made sense.
It did not make sense.
And that's not
I didn't care about Joker wafting.
No, I didn't care about Joker either. And I love the Joker.
Everyone's going on the Twitters about how much they love, like, we need more Jared Leto's Joker. And I'm like, Lord above, not if he's going to spend, like, fucking an hour wafting.
No, I don't want more of that. And I like the Joker, but I don't, to be honest, I'm kind of exhausted with comic books. I want to watch The Sopranos again because this film, the conversation around it, I'm just sick of the conversation. You can't even like what you like or dislike what you dislike without being told on the internet that you're a fucking idiot for some reason.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm like, look, if you love this, like,
great. That
is fine. I'm glad you're happy. These are the reasons I don't.
It's become like almost a moral thing where if I say on the internet that I prefer the 2017 Justice League to the 2021 Justice League.
Oh, I'm going to tweet that right now.
That I'm going to be like a bad person I'm
literally going to tweet this right now.
What are you going to tweet?
That I prefer the 2017.
Fair enough.
I prefer the 2017 Justice League to...
I mean, even if for no other reason that it's literally less painful to watch because it gets itself in and out faster.
Snyder cut Justice League because it's less painful to get through.
Are you sure you want to do this? Like,
Tweet.
I mean, it is your truth. I mean, you're allowed to speak your fucking mind.
Tweeted
Lots of people who have the opposite opinion
I'm genuinely
don't have any fucking shame saying so.
Yeah,
so...
no, I am curious because I want, like, literally nobody might respond. Like, honestly, like, it could be completely ignored. But I'm curious to see. I've tweeted that.
There you go.
That is my truth because it's shorter, funnier.
It's also my truth as well. Like, I
didn't like the first one. The thing is, I literally did not like.
I felt miserable both times.
Yeah, I felt miserable for less time in the first one.
And I got to laugh more in the first one.
So that is why I agree. So I'm going to just see what happens. That has just happened. Podcast people, Podlovians. I have tweeted that. I'm going to see if anyone, like, tries to murder me in my sleep.
Maybe there's an audience for this take. I don't know. I don't see it anywhere.
No.
The way we're talking about it.
Hey, guys, if you're like, oh, finally someone is saying what I think, hi. Right?
Hi.
So, guys, thank you very much for listening and possibly, like I'll see if my phone, like, explodes with rage. Thank you very much for listening. If you go to sirenstories.co.uk, you will find links to all our work over there. You can subscribe and win free stuff every month. There's also links to the movie that we are working on, our books, all the shiz. There's also our social media, so you can find us, come chat to us. And tomorrow we are going to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh God, I'm so excited.
I know. I feel like that story is going to have things happening without...
And the thing is, I'm not even excited about the film. I don't really care about those characters at all.
No, me either, but I'm going to.
But
I feel like I'm going to be captivated and excited.
It's going to rattle along at a reasonable pace, and I'm going to have a good time.
I'm not going to be fucking miserable and, like, cursing the day I decided to have eyeballs.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So thank you very much, and we will be back, super soon. And
Super soon.
Super soon. We will see you on the flip side.
Oh no. Oh no.
Don't take it away from me.
It's too late. It's taken.
Bye. How long is that half-hour podcast we were going to do, John?